In part 1, we studied Moatology, the forces that protect a business from imitation, substitution, commoditization, and competitive erosion.
In part 2, we studied Frictionology, the forces that slow, block, filter, redirect, or complicate movement through a business.
Now we bring the two together.
Because a moat tells us what deserves protection, while friction tells us how that protection behaves in the real world.
A business may have a strong moat and still frustrate good customers.
It may also remove so much friction that it weakens the very systems protecting quality, trust, profitability, and fit.
That is why Moatology and Frictionology should not be treated as competing ideas.
They are complementary diagnostic lenses. One identifies durable advantage. The other reveals the resistance surrounding that advantage.
Used together, they help answer a more practical question.
How should your company be designed so the right customers move easily, the right work moves quickly, and the wrong risks meet resistance?
That is the purpose of this episode.
Not simply to define moats or identify friction, but to apply both disciplines directly to your company.
The first step is identifying the moat.
Before changing processes, removing steps, automating work, or redesigning the customer experience, you need to know what must not be damaged.
That sounds obvious, but many improvement projects begin without that answer.
A company sees delay and immediately tries to accelerate it. It sees labor and immediately tries to automate it. It sees expense and immediately tries to cut it.
The problem is that some delay creates trust.
Some labor creates judgment. Some expense creates reliability. Some personal interaction is the reason customers return.
If you optimize before identifying the moat, you may destroy the thing carrying most of the value.
You can make the company faster, cheaper, and easier to imitate at the same time.
So begin with a simple question. Why do customers choose this company instead of another one?
Then go deeper. Why do they stay? Why do they refer others? What would they miss if the company disappeared?
Do not accept generic answers.
Quality, service, innovation, and trust are not enough. You need the mechanism behind the word.
If the answer is trust, ask what creates that trust.
Is it direct access to ownership, long employee tenure, transparent pricing, fast response, consistent delivery, specialized expertise?
If the answer is speed, ask what makes that speed possible.
Is it inventory, authority, local presence, workflow design, supplier relationships, standardization, or experience?
If the answer is customization, ask whether customization is truly the moat.
Or whether the moat is the judgment required to customize without creating chaos.
This distinction matters because visible features are often less defensible than the operating system behind them.
A competitor can copy a promise. It is harder to copy the structure that makes the promise consistently true.
Once the moat is identified, the next step is mapping the friction around it.
Where does the customer encounter resistance before, during, and after the value is delivered?
Where do employees encounter resistance while trying to produce that value?
Where do approvals, handoffs, tools, rules, policies, and communication patterns either protect or weaken the moat?
This creates a useful four-part diagnosis.
Some friction strengthens the moat, some friction weakens it, some low-friction pathways reinforce advantage, others make the business easier to commoditize.
Let us begin with friction that strengthens the moat.
This is protective friction, resistance that improves fit, quality, safety, commitment, trust, profitability, or focus.
A consultant may require a qualification call before accepting a client.
That adds friction, but it prevents the wrong engagement from beginning and protects both parties from a poor fit.
A custom manufacturer may require detailed specifications and approval before production.
That slows the start, but reduces expensive errors later.
A private community may require an application, referral, or membership fee.
That barrier helps preserve trust, relevance, and the quality of participation.
A premium service provider may refuse unrealistic deadlines.
That constraint protects delivery standards and prevents one customer from damaging the experience of every other customer.
In each example, the friction is not accidental inconvenience.
It is a membrane. It selectively allows the right work, customers, and behavior through while resisting the wrong ones.
Protective friction deserves to be designed carefully.
The objective is not to make entry painful. It is to make fit clear.
Good protective friction explains itself.
The customer understands why the step exists, what it protects, and what happens next.
Bad protective friction hides behind vague policy.
The customer hears, "That is just how we do it," and receives no clear benefit in exchange for the burden.
That difference matters.
A barrier becomes easier to accept when the customer can connect it to safety, quality, fairness, exclusivity, or a better result.
Now consider friction that weakens the moat.
This is destructive friction, resistance that damages the very advantage the company depends on.
Suppose a company's moat is responsiveness.
If customers must navigate 6 menus, leave multiple messages, and wait 3 days for a reply, the operating friction directly contradicts the moat.
Suppose the moat is specialized expertise.
If the intake process routes every customer through a generic script that prevents experts from seeing important context, the system dilutes the expertise.
Suppose the moat is trust.
If pricing is opaque, policies are inconsistent, or customers receive conflicting answers, friction erodes the trust faster than marketing can rebuild it.
Suppose the moat is speed.
If every decision requires owner approval, the company has placed a bottleneck directly in front of its advantage.
This is why friction cannot be evaluated in isolation.
The same step may be valuable in one company and destructive in another because the moat is different.
A long onboarding process may strengthen a complex enterprise implementation.
The same onboarding process may destroy a simple consumer service whose appeal depends on immediate use.
A high-touch sales conversation may support a premium advisory offer.
The same high-touch process may make a low-cost product economically impossible to sell.
The correct question is not whether the process contains friction.
The correct question is whether the friction supports the value proposition and economic model.
That is where 64/4 thinking prevents overanalysis.
You do not need to map every movement in the company before acting.
First, find the 4 forces creating most of the moat.
Then find the 4 friction points having the greatest effect on those protections.
This creates a focused audit.
You are not trying to improve everything. You are trying to protect the critical few and remove the critical drag.
The first audit question is, where does good friction protect the moat?
These are the barriers, checks, standards, qualifications, commitments, and constraints that preserve value.
The second question is, where does bad friction weaken the moat?
These are the delays, handoffs, ambiguities, repeated steps, poor tools, and internal rules that contradict the company's advantage.
The third question is, where has low friction strengthened the moat?
These are the pathways that make the company unusually easy to choose, buy from, work with, or remain loyal to.
The fourth question is, where has low friction weakened the moat?
These are the places where convenience has made the offer generic, exposed the company to abuse, reduced commitment, or removed valuable differentiation.
Taken together, those 4 questions create a practical terrain map.
They show where the company should accelerate movement, where it should preserve resistance, and where it should redesign the path entirely.
Let us apply this to a local service business.
Imagine a plumbing company whose moat is trust, rapid response, and experienced technicians.
Good low friction would include answering the phone quickly, offering clear appointment windows, maintaining accurate customer records, and allowing technicians to see the job history before arriving.
Each of those reduces resistance while strengthening the moat.
Good protective friction might include verifying the service address, confirming the scope, requiring approval before expensive additional work, and documenting completed repairs.
Those steps protect the customer and the company.
Bad friction would include routing emergency calls through a generic call center, forcing customers to repeat information, delaying technician dispatch for unnecessary approval, or sending inexperienced workers without context.
Each of those weakens responsiveness, trust, or expertise.
Bad low friction might appear as accepting every type of job, regardless of skill, territory, profitability, or schedule.
That feels convenient at the point of sale, but can destroy service quality and response time across the entire business.
Now consider a consultant.
Suppose the moat is diagnosis, judgment, and the ability to reduce complex business problems to the few decisions that matter most.
Good low friction would include a clear offer, simple scheduling, concise preparation requirements, and direct access to the person performing the diagnosis.
The client moves easily toward the high-value interaction.
Good protective friction might include a qualification form, access to relevant data, stakeholder participation, and refusal to prescribe a solution before understanding the problem.
Those requirements protect the integrity of the advice.
Bad friction would include excessive proposals, generic discovery calls, repeated requests for the same information, vague deliverables, or delays caused by administrative disorganization.
Those barriers undermine the consultant's claim of clarity.
Bad low friction would include accepting every client, every problem, and every engagement.
That may increase short-term revenue while diluting expertise and destroying the repeatable diagnostic model.
Now consider a marketer.
Suppose the company's moat is a distinctive position and a highly trusted audience.
Good low friction would include clear messaging, easy access to proof, simple next steps, and a direct path from interest to action.
The customer quickly understands what the company does and why it matters.
Good protective friction might include limiting access to a premium offer, qualifying leads, requiring a strategy session, or protecting the audience from irrelevant promotions.
Those membranes preserve trust and fit.
Bad friction would include inconsistent messaging, broken handoffs, unclear pricing, weak follow-up, or forcing interested buyers to decode what the company actually sells.
The marketing creates attention, but the system wastes it.
Bad low friction might include promoting every possible product to every person.
That makes it easy to monetize attention in the short term while weakening the position that made the audience valuable.
Sales provides another clear example.
Suppose the moat is credibility, responsiveness, and specialized understanding of the buyer's problem.
Good low friction would include fast proposals, clear next steps, relevant proof, and the ability to answer technical questions without transferring the buyer through multiple departments.
The sales process reflects the company's competence.
Good protective friction might include confirming budget, authority, timing, scope, and implementation readiness.
Those questions prevent both sides from investing heavily in a deal that cannot succeed.
Bad friction would include delayed quotes, unnecessary meetings, inconsistent terms, too many options, and internal approvals that nobody owns.
The buyer experiences organizational confusion before becoming a customer.
Bad low friction might include discounting immediately, promising custom work without operational review, or skipping qualification to avoid making the buyer uncomfortable.
The deal closes more easily, but the company may have sold something it cannot profitably or reliably deliver.
The pattern is consistent across industries.
Good design makes the valuable action easy and the damaging action difficult.
That principle sounds simple.
But many companies do the opposite.
They make it difficult for good customers to buy.
Then make it easy for poor-fit customers to demand exceptions.
They make employees seek approval for routine decisions.
Then allow major custom commitments to be made casually during a sales conversation.
They make customers complete long forms.
Then fail to collect the one piece of information operations actually needs.
They create strict internal policies.
Then ignore them whenever a large customer applies pressure.
This is not simply inefficiency.
It is misallocated friction.
The business has placed resistance in front of the wrong people and removed it from the wrong decisions.
Moatology and Frictionology together reveal that mismatch.
A useful company audit should therefore begin at the point of customer entry.
How does the right customer discover the company, understand the offer, evaluate trust, and take the next step?
Where does that journey become confusing or slow?
Which steps strengthen confidence, and which steps merely consume attention?
Then examine the transition from sales to delivery.
What information must cross that boundary? What promises must be preserved? What context is routinely lost?
Many companies have a strong sales experience and a weak handoff.
The customer feels understood until the contract is signed, then must explain everything again to a new team.
That single handoff can destroy trust.
It turns the salesperson's relationship into an expectation operations cannot see.
Next, examine delivery itself.
Where does work wait? Where do errors begin? Where do employees create workarounds? Where does responsibility become unclear?
Look for repeated rescue behavior.
Whenever the same employee repeatedly saves a project, the company may be depending on personal heroics rather than system design.
That employee may appear to be the moat.
But if the knowledge, authority, and method lie only in that person's head, the company also has a concentration risk.
The goal is not to eliminate the person's value.
The goal is to convert part of that value into a more durable operating advantage.
Document the judgment where possible.
Clarify authority, improve information flow, build tools that support expertise instead of flattening it.
Then inspect the customer's ongoing relationship with the company.
How easy is it to get support, expand service, renew, refer someone, or resolve a problem?
Many companies spend heavily to acquire customers and then surround existing customers with unnecessary friction.
They hide support, complicate billing, make cancellation adversarial, and force loyal buyers to navigate systems designed for strangers.
That is often economically irrational.
The customer, who already trusts the company, should not face more friction than the person who has never paid.
At the same time, retention should not depend on captivity.
A switching cost can be a moat, but a company that relies entirely on customer pain may be protected only until a better escape appears.
The strongest retention comes from accumulated value.
The relationship becomes easier, smarter, more useful, and more integrated over time.
That is a compounding moat supported by decreasing friction for the right customer.
The longer the customer stays, the more naturally the company fits.
Technology must also be judged through both lenses.
Do not ask only whether a tool saves time.
Ask whether it strengthens or weakens the moat.
Does automation improve speed while preserving judgment? Does it increase consistency without removing the human interaction customers value?
Does the tool reduce employee friction?
Or does it simply move effort into data entry, maintenance, troubleshooting, and supervision?
Does the platform deepen the customer relationship?
Or does it hand that relationship to an intermediary that can change the rules later?
Technology is not automatically leverage.
It becomes leverage when it removes destructive friction and strengthens durable advantage.
The same principle applies to artificial intelligence.
AI can reduce writing, research, analysis, classification, support, coding, and administrative friction.
But automating the visible task without understanding the moat can create generic output at greater speed.
If judgment is the moat, AI should support judgment rather than pretend to replace it.
If trust is the moat, AI should improve responsiveness without deceiving customers about who or what they are interacting with.
If customization is the moat, AI may help scale personalization, but only if the underlying output remains accurate and relevant.
The first question should never be, where can we insert AI?
The better question is, where is destructive friction weakening the moat, and can this tool remove it without damaging the protection?
That is a much higher quality decision rule.
It avoids automation theater and keeps the technology subordinate to the business model.
Leadership behavior must also be examined.
An owner can become the company's strongest moat and its greatest source of friction at the same time.
The owner may hold the relationships, judgment, standards, and reputation that make the business valuable.
But if every decision, exception, quote, hire, refund, and approval requires that owner, the moat has become a bottleneck.
The answer is not to remove the owner carelessly.
The answer is to separate the owner's high-value judgment from the routine decisions that others can make safely.
This is another 64/4 exercise.
Which 4 types of decisions genuinely require the owner, and which dozens have remained centralized only through habit?
Preserve the owner where the judgment changes the outcome.
Remove the owner where involvement merely increases weighting.
The same applies to policies.
Find the small number of rules protecting most of the quality, safety, and economics.
Keep those visible and enforce them consistently.
Then challenge the accumulated rules that create burden without meaningful protection.
A clean system is not a system with no rules.
It is a system where each important rule has a clear purpose, and each important exception has a clear owner.
Pricing also sits at the intersection of moatology and frictionology.
Price can attract, repel, signal, filter, anchor, and protect.
Low pricing may reduce purchase friction.
It may also attract customers who consume disproportionate support, distrust premium recommendations, or leave quickly.
High pricing may create resistance.
It may also signal specialization, fund better delivery, reduce overload, and improve customer commitment.
That does not mean higher prices are always better.
It means price should be judged as part of the system rather than as an isolated number.
The right price supports the moat and produces the right level of friction for the offer.
It discourages the wrong fit without creating unnecessary confusion or distrust for the right buyer.
The same is true of scarcity.
Limited availability can protect quality and increase perceived value.
Artificial scarcity can damage trust.
The distinction is whether the constraint reflects a real operating truth or a manufactured pressure tactic.
Real membranes explain reality.
Fake membranes manipulate perception.
That matters because trust is itself a moat.
A company should not strengthen one form of friction by corroding a more valuable protection.
The integrated company audit can now be reduced to a practical sequence.
First, identify the 4 forces producing most of the company's durable advantage.
Second, identify the 4 friction points having the largest effect on those forces.
Third, classify each point as protective, destructive, necessary but poorly designed, or absent where resistance is needed.
Fourth, decide whether to remove it, reduce it, preserve it, redesign it, or add it.
That is enough to create a high-leverage action plan without drowning the company in analysis.
The sequence matters.
Do not begin by removing friction. Begin by understanding the moat.
Do not preserve friction merely because it has always existed.
Demand evidence that it protects something valuable.
Do not add friction merely to make the company feel exclusive.
Add it only when it improves fit, commitment, safety, quality, trust, or economics.
Do not automate a process simply because it is repetitive.
First ask whether the process should exist at all.
Do not optimize every step equally.
Find the critical 4 producing most of the gain or most of the damage.
This is where the 2 disciplines become more than interesting terminology.
They become a practical operating system for better decisions.
Moatology asks what makes the company difficult to replace.
Frictionology asks what makes movement through the company easier, harder, safer, slower, clearer, or more expensive.
Together, they ask whether the company's design reinforces its advantage,
or whether its own systems are quietly working against it.
For the owner, this protects enterprise value.
For leadership, it improves prioritization.
For operations, it exposes waste and bottlenecks.
For employees, it removes unnecessary resistance.
For consultants, it sharpens diagnosis.
For marketers, it clarifies the promise and the pathway.
For salespeople, it improves fit, confidence, and conversion.
For customers, it creates an experience that feels easy where it should and careful where it must.
The end goal is not a frictionless company.
Nor is it an impenetrable company.
The goal is a deliberately designed company.
One where the moat is clear, the membranes are intentional, the pathways are coherent, and resistance appears only where it creates more value than cost.
That is the combined discipline of moatology and frictionology.
Find what deserves protection. Find what obstructs or supports it, then redesign the terrain around the truth.
In true 64/4 fashion, the answer will rarely require changing everything.
It will usually require seeing the few forces that control most of the outcome.
Find the 4 protections carrying the company.
Find the 4 friction points shaping those protections.
Feed what compounds.
Remove what drains.
Preserve what protects.
Redesign what no longer makes sense.
That is how a company becomes easier for the right people to choose, harder for the wrong forces to damage, and increasingly difficult for competitors to replace.
Not by building more walls everywhere, but by understanding exactly where the moat belongs and exactly how the terrain should work around it.